guys, welcome back. So recently I went on a socially distant shopping spree at a record store and an antique shop, and I want to show you guys what I got. From these trips I walked away with a few records and some vintage magazines. Let's get into it. The first record I want to show you guys is Heart Like a Wheel by Linda Ronstadt. This is an original copy from 1974. I'm kind of delving into Linda's music sort of for the first time-ish. I mean, I know her bigger songs, but I didn't realize, the breadth of her career, just how much she was able to accomplish. And fun fact, Linda Ronstadt is from Tucson, Arizona, where I'm also from. So I had to get this, just support my fellow Tucsonan. Okay, so record number 2 is I Got a Name by Jim Croce. This album is probably one of my new favorites. It's an original copy from 1973, ABC Records. It's got some of the most beautiful folk songs you'll probably ever hear on it. It's really beautiful and lyrically it's super strong. Okay, the next vinyl record I got is Minute by Minute by the Doobie Brothers. I actually was really hoping to see them in concert on my birthday this year. That is no longer a reality, and you know what? I'm not even gonna think about that or the other concert I was supposed to go to, Eagles, that got canceled because of this virus. I'm gonna let it go. We got Michael McDonald with them on this record, and the songs are just so good. I mainly got this record because Minute by Minute is on here, but really, truly, I got this because What a Fool Believes is on here. And if you've seen my 70s vinyl video, you'll know what a huge stan I am for What a Fool Believes. Is it cringy to say stan out loud? I probably should stop saying that out loud, right? It sounds kind of whack, doesn't it? Whack. Also, no one says that anymore. I like saying it though. Okay guys, the next record is very crucial, extremely important. Buckle your seatbelts because it's Keep the Fire by Kenny Loggins. 1979 CBS Records. This man right here is one of the greatest singers of all time, and I feel like we don't talk about that enough. I feel like we don't talk about the fact that Kenny Loggins could sing anything, any genre, anywhere, at any point in time. He's had one of the most versatile vocal careers of anyone I've ever seen. This album, listen, there's a lot to unpack here. Let's just talk about the artwork, right? Because this is poetic. You know what I mean? There's so much happening here, but what I will say is that I know I gave Kenny a hard time in the last vinyl video when I made fun of the Night Watch cover, but I just want to say, I meant no disrespect. I really didn't. And it actually is a great cover. I was just having fun. I really was not trying to tear it apart. I truly wasn't. This one though, I will never make fun of. It's majestic, is what it is. I got this album mainly because of This Is It, and I was blown out of the water with the rest of the songs. I have to say, this probably has been in heavy rotation for the past few weeks. If I could get a poster of this, oh, you know I'd put it on my wall. Okay, next record is It'll Shine When It Shines by the Ozark Mountain Daredevils. This album came out in 1974 from A&M Records. This record is really special to me because one of my favorite songs is on it. It's called Jackie Blue, and it's become a pretty important song for me for many reasons, but this particular album, I discovered it my sophomore year of college, so gosh, what is that, like 2 years ago? No, 3 years ago probably. I heard Jackie Blue for the first time in a Barnes & Noble and instantly was like, what is this? I need this right now. I found that song, listened to it nonstop, and then listened to the rest of the album, and I'm such a big fan of it. It's got really great cover art too. I absolutely love. Okay, so the last record that I got is a Lena Horne collection. This one is super exciting for me because I haven't gotten a Lena Horne record yet. I believe this album came out in 1958. This was a recording that Lena did with the Fillmore Orchestra. And all of these songs from her are new to me, so I'm excited to listen to them. Okay, so now I'm gonna show you guys the magazines that I got. This is a Life magazine from March 20th, 1944. I definitely wanna open this up and show it to you guys. But I just want to make a disclaimer. I'm not going to show you the whole thing because I want to make a magazine flip through video like the Vogue one I just did. If you haven't seen my last video, please check it out. I flipped through a Vogue magazine from 1965 and show you all the beautiful ads, and it's a really, really fun little video that I'm really glad some of you liked so far. So I'm definitely going to do more of that. I'll open it up and give you guys a little sneak peek, but I'm not going to show you the whole thing, all right? This very well might be the oldest thing I own, minus like some family photos that are probably this old. Oh wow. Whew. And let's take a little sneak peek. Wow guys, how cool is that? It's in pretty good condition. I mean, the binding has stayed intact all this time. It's amazing. So I'm really happy to have these next two magazines because they're my first ever vintage movie magazines that I've ever gotten. So let's start off with the first one. It is an edition of Modern Screen from 1956 with Elizabeth Taylor on the cover. This cover image is so beautiful, and it's just such a very, very 50s cover. We've got a Natalie Wood story in here. Elvis or Pat Boone? Vote now for the king of rock and roll? Pat Boone? Okay, listen, I definitely was not alive in the 50s, but the Pat Boone that I recall is not someone that I would put in the same breath as Elvis Presley, and definitely would not put in a competition for the king of rock and roll. Is that even a question? Pat Boone? Maybe he was really out there back then. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know about that one. The next magazine is Modern Screen from 1957 with Debbie Reynolds on the cover. So I think it's really fitting that I got these two magazines, because if you know the hot gossip of old Hollywood, then you will know the story about Debbie Reynolds and Elizabeth Taylor. But if you don't know, I will tell you. Gather around, children. So back in the 1950s, Debbie Reynolds was married to a man named Eddie Fisher, who was a very popular singer and crooner at the time. Eddie Fisher had a best friend named Mike Todd, who was married to Elizabeth Taylor. Now, Mike Todd was a theater and film producer, and I believe Elizabeth credited him as being the love of her life. And in 1958, while Elizabeth was working on Cat on a Hot Tin Roof, Mike died in a plane crash. Basically, as Elizabeth was grieving and coping with this loss, she turned to Eddie Fisher, who is Debbie Reynolds' husband, and Mike Todd's best friend, for comfort as she dealt with the loss. It is worth noting that since I filmed this video, I did a little bit of extra research and realized that when Mike Todd's death was first announced, Eddie and Debbie basically decided that Eddie should stay with Elizabeth and help guide her through the grief because he was friends with Mike. So it wasn't exactly initially Elizabeth's fault as I made it sound, but needless to say, the situation is still very messed up. And if you're thinking, this 20-something-year-old girl knows a little too much about events from like 60 years ago, you are 100% correct. There is literally no reason why I should know this. And yet, here we are. So during that time, Elizabeth and Eddie began an affair, and then Eddie left Debbie to marry Elizabeth. Big yikes. And the relationship did not last very long, because shortly thereafter, Elizabeth met Richard Burton on the set of Cleopatra, and the rest is history, as we all know. And you'd think that Miss Debbie Reynolds would say, "Oh no, honey, I will never see you or speak to you again. Whatever we had as friends before all of this mess is over. Do not contact me again." But actually, these two made up later on in life and became good friends again, which is crazy. So I think it's only fitting that we have these two together again in magazine form. That is all for my old Hollywood story time. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Anyways, that's all for now. I am really excited to show you guys these magazines in a flip through video, so please stay tuned for those. Don't forget to like and subscribe and follow Gold Souls on Instagram. I'll see you in the next video.